Hello everyone, Sorry here, and today we are going to do meta talk. We're going to talk about the ladder meta, how it's shaping up. A lot of changes have happened compared to previous week, and we're going to talk about Runeterra open lineups. We're going to use Mastering Runeterra tournament that happened this past week. Look at the successful decks. I played in it. I made top 8 with my lineup: Fizz Samira, Vayne Aatrox, and Cannon Jinx. I actually lost only to one player, Majin Bay, which was on the same lineup as well. We were bringing the same lineup. His lineup has his lists are a bit different, but it was the same lineup. I think he made top 4. He beat me in top 8, made top 4, then lost, I think. But the lineup was successful, but it didn't find the decks that it wanted to target. I'll talk more about it after we talk about ladder. So ladder meta right now, no more Heimerdinger Jace in the first place. It dropped to 3rd place. Now Nasus Veigar is 1st place. So if we look last 7 days, it was Heimerdinger Jace, but now things are changing up. Jinx Cannon rising up really fast and will probably overtake Nasus Veigar very soon. It's one of the strongest decks right now. It beats so many decks. It beats Nasus Veigar. It's okay into Heimerdinger Jace, beats Fizz Samira, loses to Ilaoi Swain, beats Pyke, beats Teemo. So it is right now, Jinx Cannon is the most popular, and if you want to target something, this is the deck to counter if you're going to the Runeterra Open looking to beat a specific deck. Nasus Veigar, I didn't really see much of it on in the tournament, but we'll talk more about it soon. Heimerdinger Jace lost his popularity, but still doing well on ladder. Fizz Samira on the rise, top 4 right now, good win rate. It beats stuff like Heimer Jace, Nasus Veigar, but it loses to Jinx Cannon. Ilaoi Swain dropped a little bit, but it still has a high win rate. It beats Jinx Cannon and it beats Fizz Samira, but loses to Heimerdinger Jace and it loses to Nasus Veigar. So you do have counters. Pyke Rek'Sai, Lurk doing Lurk stuff, the usual. Teemo Condensed fell off. It used to be 1st place, now it's 7. It also dropped below 50% for a little while, but now it's back to 51%. We have Aatrox Vayne, one of the safest decks to bring on ladder and tournaments. 54% win rate, beats a lot of the meta decks, beats stuff like Teemo. Okay into Ilaoi Swain, beats Fizz Samira. Okay into Heimerdinger Jace, beats Jinx Cannon, loses to Nasus Veigar. Scouts getting popular, 54%. Karma Set not doing too well, 49%, also lost a lot of its popularity. Darkness 50. Jax On lost a lot of popularity. It used to be in the top 3, now top 12, 53% win rate. And we have Gnar Jhin Nora, 53% win rate, although people are now cutting Gnar entirely and just going Jhin Nora instead. The Azir version not as successful as the Veigar version. The Veigar is just better with the Nasus. Azir with Glory Skull is just not worth it. Gnar Nico 50%. Ashe LeBlanc not doing too well. Elusive Teemo used to be in the top 3, now down to 17th spot, but still holding up a good win rate. A lot of counters right now. Shen Jarvan is really good into Vayne Aatrox, so it's a good counter for that. Anigen not too well. Gnar Nidalee 51 and the Jinx Cannon deck, but without Cannon. But yeah, that's pretty much the ladder meta. So you don't feel like one deck is crushing everything outside of Jinx Cannon. Kind of strong, but very counterable. Like everything you can see here is counterable. It might crush a couple of matchups, but there are decks that counter it. So it feels overall like a healthy meta. I'm really enjoying the meta right now. Much better than the Siren Song meta. I wasn't really happy with the Siren Song. But yeah, if like a lot of decks are very good, you can climb with a lot of different playstyles. But let's talk about the most important thing, the Runeterra Open. So here is the top 8 that made it in the Mastering Runeterra tournament. I brought Aatrox Vayne, Jinx Cannon, Fizz Samira. Majin Bay brought a similar lineup, just different lists, and he ended up making top 4, top 8 I made. So it was a successful lineup, but it didn't match into the decks I wanted to see. So we didn't see a lot of Nasus Veigar at all. I didn't match at all into Nasus Veigar, and I didn't see Heimerdinger J. So I was hoping we could see these decks so we can beat them, but unfortunately we didn't see them. So Fizz Samira and Jinx Cannon are good decks to beat these two, but the weak link is Aatrox Vayne. It's even into this, almost even, but loses to Nasus Veigar. But you could beat it if you have a Ranger's Defector on 4 and you start rallying with the Tumble. You can beat it. So it's very skill intensive matchup. That Tank Buster won first place. Aatrox, Quinn Vayne, Jhin Nora, Darius Gnar, Samira. Kind of unique lineup. So we have Aatrox Vayne. The Jhin Nora, I just said no one is running Gnar. Or, I mean, some people are still running Gnar. It's just not as popular. And Darius Gnar, Samira, which is an overwhelm deck. Hopefully my internet opens the page. There we go. So this lineup wants to do well into Jinx Cannon decks, Vayne Aatrox decks, and I think it does okay into Samira decks as well. So the idea with this deck is you want to aggro them down. You have a lot of early units, and then you transition to the overwhelm win condition with your big overwhelm units and Darius, and you have stuff like Decisive Maneuver, your biggest play, or Battle Fury to kind of push the lethal. And most decks like Jinx Cannon or Fizz Samira can't stop it unless they play a pirouette preemptively before you attack Fizz Samira. But yeah, they won first place, ended up beating Grand Baroji, which brought also a unique lineup. Gnar Tristana and Samira Varus and Aatrox Vayne. We'll look at these two decks. I mentioned to Roji in the Swiss, ended up beating him, but I had to actually ban Tristana Gnar because it beats Cannon Jinx. So his lineup is created to play against Cannon Jinx and beat it. A lot of pink spells to remove threats. And this Samira Varus, Samira can pick off units. We have a lot of cheap units to keep up with their board. And we have stuff to keep our units alive. 3 of the Discord as well to kill the weak units, so you don't take a lot of Nexus damage. Ended up second place with this lineup. Broken Ball brought Illaoi Swain, Jhin Nora, and Aatrox Vayne. Illaoi Swain is actually solid right now. Especially that I didn't see Nasus Veigar or Heimerdinger Jace at all. So it could be a really good bring over Fizz Samira if you're looking to beat Jinx Cannon. So this deck does well into Jinx Cannon because of Make It Rain, Parley, Heavy Metal. You can kind of remove those threats. And if you're expecting to ban Nasus Veigar, then Illaoi Swain is really good. But keep in mind that these players that came to the Mastering Runeterra, they paid money to join the tournament. They joined with a meta call. They looked at the general field. They maybe scouted some players and they brought a lineup. They felt it's good for a tournament. The Runeterra Open is kind of different. Runeterra Open is players sometimes playing for fun, sometimes playing and looking at the ladder stats, mostly ladder players, and going with that. So what are the popular decks on ladder? Where is the ladder page? Nasus Veigar and Heimerdinger J. So players will see this. They will see Jinx Cannon obviously, and they might be favoring bringing Nasus Veigar. So you can't always rely on a tournament stats to bring a lineup to counter Runeterra Open. Players are completely different. Their meta calls are different. So you might end up bringing a lineup that, for example, ignores Nasus Veigar and Heimerdinger Jace, and you might end up matching into them. My first lineup was Nasus Veigar, Heimerdinger Jace, and I think it was Illaoi Swain as a third deck. That was originally my first lineup, but later on changed it. It could still be a good lineup now because it's good into Aatrox Vayne, which is really popular. So decks to look to counter are Jinx Cannon. You don't go wrong by countering Jinx Cannon. You could still end up losing it, but in your majority of your games you will probably face into this deck. You either want to ban it or you want to bring a lineup that beats it. Decks that beat it, we have, let's look. We have decks that beat it here. We have Illaoi Swain. Vayne Aatrox is close matchup. You don't automatically beat it. Scouts, Jhin Gnar, which I'm really liking, Jhin Nora, and Jax Ornn, kind of weird, actually keeps up with it. And the elusive team was 50-50. But those are the decks you... Oh, Kane Aatrox as well. Kane Aatrox. I saw a couple of Kane Aatrox players. So Kane Aatrox could be a bring. But the Tank Busters lineup is currently my favorite, to be honest. And I'm really considering it. Aatrox Quinn Vayne, Jhin Nora, and Darius Gnar Samira. And you do well into Kennen Jinx. My lineup just bans Kennen Jinx. You don't want to face up against it. And it could be better in Runeterra Open, because you might face more Nasus Veigar and Heimerdinger Jace, and this lineup holds up well against them, right? This line, it holds up well against them. Other decks that were brought were Jax, Varus, Nidalee, Renekton, Aatrox, Vayne, and we also have this Samira, Jinx, Kennen, Jarvan, Shen. Kind of similar lineup to mine, just with Shen, Jarvan that actually beats Vayne, Aatrox. What else do we have? Jax Teemo. Jax Teemo has been doing well on ladder. It's kind of a discard deck with Mecha Yordles. Similar to Kennen Jinx, but it actually loses to Kennen Jinx. So just be careful if you bring it. It does lose to Kennen Jinx. I matched against it, I think, 2 times in the tournament. And my Kennen Jinx was beating it. But yeah, it wants to go wide. Starts pushing early damage. Jax can level up with Return Wrench, Innovative Blacksmith, and Combat Cook. And you have not a lot of burn. You have Electro Harpoon. You don't have a blowback like Jinx Cannon. But yeah, that's pretty much the decks that found success in the mastering Runeterra. So your game plan, you have 3 game plans, I guess. First game plan is to beat Jinx Cannon. Bring a lineup that's good into it. Second game plan, ban Jinx Cannon, or so you don't match into it. Third game plan, bring decks you just enjoy playing. Have fun. But bring decks that can target at least one deck or are good into like at least evenish. So you can have a good ban phase, so you can ban strategically. Kind of protect some of your decks. But yeah, Jinx Cannon, popular deck. I will probably be bringing, a lot of people will be bringing Jinx Cannon. So that's also a bring. Unless I end up on the Tank Buster lineup, which seems good, but it might be weak into... It is weak into Nasus, so you have to ban Nasus if you bring this. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's kind of the meta talk I wanted to have with you guys this weekend, this Monday. I hopefully you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.